Good morning, millennials. Welcome back to the Morning Toast. Happy Friday. Hey, Claude, HYD.
Good morning, Jackie. It's Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Ben literally, we woke up at the same time. He rolled over and he whispered in my ear. He was like, "It's Friday,
Oh my
Friday." It's honestly crazy what cultural impact that idiotic song had on me and an entire generation.
Yeah, no, it was a moment for sure.
For sure.
But it also is Friday, and I'm excited that it's Friday, even though we're still in quarantine. The weekends are starting to feel more and more legitimate.
Real.
And I really just am so excited to sleep in. I can't even tell you, and just watch Potomac all day, all night. So
Yeah.
I have a great weekend ahead of me, and I'm ready to embark on it.
There was a period in quarantine where we were doing our show much later, live at noon. So I really wasn't waking up till 10:30, 11. But now that we're pre-recorded this week, especially, we've tried to do earlier shows because people seem to like it. So I'm exhausted.
Yeah, no, I agree. This was the first week where I fell asleep when I went to sleep. I didn't just lay there contemplating the Earth's biggest questions.
Same. No, and I've been going to bed at 10:30. I've been on a strict regimen. It's there's a Bravo usually from 9 to 10, and then 10 to 10:30 is Watch What Happens Live, and then boom, I'm asleep. I cannot believe how early. I feel like a grandmother.
Oh, that's really early. I've been going to sleep around midnight. Last night was 12:30 because I stayed up to finish season 2 of Real Housewives of Potomac. I have a frog in my throat. I have to watch the reunions, which I'm really excited about, and then I'll be on season 3. So hopefully by next time you see me, I'll be on season 4.
Wow, that's crazy. It's crazy what can happen in a weekend, you know?
It's crazy what can happen in a weekend.
So we have a great show. I have to make a correction. Real Housewives of New York was on last night, and I'm so sorry for spreading misinformation. It's been very confusing from Bravo. No real statement as to why they're delaying. I actually read on some Bravo groups that so much of their future production is delayed because of COVID. So they're kind of just spreading out the fresh content that they still have. I don't know if that's true or not, but it made a lot of sense. So I apologize. There was an episode of Real Housewives in New York, and we will be recapping it in our TV recap segment along with some other things. We have Fast Five, some good, some bad, some very sad stuff, but some happy stuff.
Yeah, actually, I think we have some good. I think there's just one sad news story that hurts my heart, but the rest is relatively good news, I think. So I'm excited about that. I like the idea of Bravo spreading out their content so that when the time comes, when the drought of coronavirus 2020 occurs, that we are prepared. So I'm okay to wait a few weeks, even though I will miss my shows.
Yeah, even though I was really not looking forward to Real Housewives of New York, but I'm glad we're going to recap it because I actually have a lot of thoughts, and it wasn't necessarily the worst episode I'd ever seen.
Did you watch last week's episode?
Yes.
We have to talk about last week's episode. I was in shock. I've never seen a more dysfunctional dinner, and not in a cool, interesting way, in a what is happening way. We'll get into it. We have so much to recap. So I think we should start. Oh, also, if you haven't listened to the latest episode of The Redheads, it is available now. We are recapping Codename Helene. And if a little historical fiction is not your speed, get started on the newest Redheads book, which is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou.
And then speaking of books, today is Friday, which means we are going to be highlighting a Black business, which we spoke about last week, why we're going to start doing that. And so in conjunction with the Redheads episode, we're going to be highlighting a Black-owned bookstore called Loyalty Bookstores. They're based in DC. They have I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, along with tons of other books that you can read about and learn about. Yeah, like I said, they're based in DC. You could shop online. It's loyaltybookstores.com. The founder, Hannah Oliver Depp, is a Black and queer bookseller who has spent her career working to diversify the book industry in order for it to better serve the powerful communities of color and queerness. They aim to be the Mid-Atlantic's neighborhood spot for wonderful books and unique stationery, gifts, and programming. So like I said, you could shop loyaltybookstores.com. They do have I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, but they also have tons of other books. If you're not doing the Redheads or you're just looking for books, it's a great way to spend that coin. So loyaltybookstores.com is where we got I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Our physical copies.
Because I read it on the Kindle, but I've started ordering physical copies of all of the books that we choose so that I can have a collection, and also so I can take photos for our Instagram. So I ordered this one from Loyalty Books, and it's great.
If you guys have any recommendations, or any of our listeners are Black business owners, please email us. You can reach us at hello@morningtoastshow.com. If you want us to include your business, all you got to do is email us hello@morningtoastshow.com, or you have a recommendation. We would greatly appreciate it. So let's do it.
Okay, without further ado, let's get into the Fast 5 stories that you need to know before you wake up and take a bite out of your morning toast. First story of the day, the big news of the day. Matt James is the new Bachelor. Get ready, ladies. Matt James is looking for love. The Bachelor announced Matt James, who is 28, as its next leading man, making him the franchise's first ever Black male lead. Rachel Lindsay made history as the first Black female lead of the ABC franchise for season 13. On Friday morning, Good Morning America announced James's new history-making role with a statement from ABC saying they're, quote, privileged to have Matt as the first Black Bachelor. Quote, we know we have a responsibility to make sure the love stories we're seeing on screen are representative of the world we live in, and we are proudly in service to our audience, the statement read. This is just the beginning, and we will continue to take action with regard to diversity issues on this franchise. We feel so privileged to have Matt as our first Black Bachelor, and we cannot wait to embark on this journey with him.
Okay, I have 3 points.
Go.
One, it's important to note that they're not skipping Claire's season. It's going to be Claire's season, and then no one from Claire's season is getting chosen. It's just automatically Matt in January. So for those wondering, I thought the same thing, because like Claire is just like so unlucky that just would happen to her.
I was wondering, and I thought that she was just going to be skipped over, but I'm glad that you clarified that. Thank you.
2 is important. Like, of course, this is fabulous, but it only is going to be fabulous if like everyone watches it, because ABC, of course, they claim to be diverse, but at the end of the day, they're just after the bottom line, you know? Right. So if something doesn't perform well, they're not going to do it again. So it's important that everyone watch this season, because it's one thing for them to like make a step in the right direction. But if this is like when they gave it to Rachel and then they never had another diverse lead, it's like, you're not really moving forward. So it's important that everyone watches it. We will be recapping it. I think the Snatcher will be too. It's just important that everyone watches it. So that's what.
Yes, we'll be watching it and recapping it. So
the third thing I wanted to say is like, what did Mike Johnson do wrong? Like, I think it's crazy that they're having a lead who's never been on the show before. And of course, these are unprecedented times, but it's like they went so far out of their way, not once, but twice, to not give it to Mike Johnson, who the people seem to really like. Like, I see a lot of comments, people rallying around him. And I know that there's been like rumors that he's like weird, but Peter was weird too. Like, everyone is a little weird. So it's like, why are they going so far out of their way not to choose Mike Johnson? They're literally choosing technically like a stranger to the franchise, even though he's Tyler C's best friend. He's never been on the franchise before. I just feel like, what's going on? Why aren't they choosing Mike Johnson?
Yes, I feel the same way. And even though I think Mike Johnson would have been a great choice, we did discuss how in Paradise, like, there was obviously something weird with him when he stepped onto the beach. Like, he was so many people's like first choice, and then he didn't really romantically link with anyone, which made me think like he's just kind of weird. But there's a lid for every pot, and just because he might be a little socially awkward doesn't mean that he can't be the Bachelor. But no, I do like that the Bachelor, they always say that they're going to do this, where they're just going to pick someone who's not related to the franchise yet. They're like, they used to say they're getting Khloe Kardashian to be the Bachelorette, or like Amy Schumer. And so I actually like that they're just starting clean slate. Matt James, like, I think a lot of us have gotten to know his personality from Tyler C's content, and he seems like a great guy. And so I'm completely here for this choice, but I agree they are purposely have not chosen Mike Johnson yet again. But I think this is a fabulous choice, so I'm not going to harp on that.
Well, I'm going to harp just like for one more minute, because it's just confusing. And I understand like he walked on the beach in Paradise and was like a little socially awkward, but in my mind, I think that he thought he had a real chance of being the Bachelor and didn't want to get into a relationship and then like maybe have to break up with someone like Nick did. Like, I think that he thought it was still a possibility and didn't want to ruin his chances. And I just can't stress enough. It's like anyone who's on TV and looking for love is gonna come off weird. Like, I can't stress enough. Like, okay, so they thought Mike was too weird, so they gave it to Peter, who is the definition of weird. Like, have you ever seen his TikTok?
No. Like, here's the thing. Mike didn't even do anything weird. It was just putting things together. Like the fact that when he came down to the beach, like so many girls were floored. When it came down to it, like nobody actually had a connection with him. The same way I felt about Ben Z. When he went to Paradise,
But
I was
Ben
like,
Z's
oh my
a great
God.
guy.
I was like, oh my God, game over. No, there was something weird about him because no one wanted
I
to
disagree.
Yes, no.
There's
it's
so
just,
much that goes on like behind the scenes. Like you have no idea why nobody clicked with Mike Johnson.
I just think
and you know what? It's like they said they're catering to their audience. Like the audience is, and not that I'm at all unhappy with Matt James. We've actually met him. He's so nice and so handsome. But I'm just curious, like why they're going so far out of their way to like not give it to the obvious choice.
I think that they're just starting fresh. Like
Okay.
Matt James is like kind of this personality within Bachelor Nation now without ever having been on the show. I think a lot of people are interested in him and, you know, obviously love Tyler C. And so I actually think that this is a choice that really we're moving forward with the Bachelor franchise, not just moving backwards, picking the person who didn't get picked the last time. And apparently there was a reason he didn't get picked.
Okay. I mean,
I would have been happy
point
with Mike Johnson as well. And like, there was just all that stuff. Remember like the Demi Lovato comment and like,
oh my God, yeah, he was doing like weird stuff, but he was, I don't know, like he was famous, like, and he was excited, you know, even though him asking Keke Palmer out on TV was like not acceptable. But still, I'm curious, like what's really going on behind the scenes as it pertains to Mike Johnson, because he really, not only now, but also when they were choosing for Peter's season, like he seemed like the obvious choice both times.
Yeah. But I guess they're just trying to shake it up. And I'm here for that.
Me too. Matt James is going to do a good job. Like he's super cute. He was supposed to be on Claire's season, but then decided he was not going to be on Claire's season. There was like
beef
drama
between them. She like tweeted something shady towards him because he was doing cameos before the seasons premiered. And she was like, if you're doing cameos and stuff before like you even go on the show, you're not here for the right reasons.
Boy, is she sorry.
Yeah. Oh my God. I can't believe she's still having a season. Wow.
Where'd you see that? What? Like, a Facebook comment.
Okay.
But it felt like it was real.
Okay. I mean,
they still need to cast. It takes time. So I think it makes sense that Claire would go first. They wouldn't disrupt the order of like Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor, Bachelorette. And I think what I read was fair. Okay.
I think that sounds fair as well. I'm very much looking forward to Matt's season. And can't wait till.
And my heart is with Mike Johnson. Like, I'm sure when that, you know, when people were starting to have these conversations, he probably thought like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
Maybe he didn't want it.
Oh, see, I like how we don't even consider that. Like, no one wouldn't want it. But that's possible.
Sometimes people don't want it. Maybe he's like done with the franchise, you know? He's done Paradise, he did The Bachelorette, and maybe
it's exhausting.
Maybe he's in a relationship.
Oh, that's a good call.
You know, there's always there's probably a lot of things we don't know. Okay, speaking of relationships.
No.
Next story.
Don't say it.
Some heartbreaking news. This is my heartbreak song. Kelly Clarkson files for divorce from her husband, Brandon Blackstock. Kelly Clarkson really is Miss Independent now.
Oh, that is so mean, throwing her lyrics in her face.
The singer has filed for divorce from her husband of nearly 7 years, talent manager Brandon Blackstock, The Blast reported on Thursday. She filed to end her marriage on June 4th. Clarkson and Blackstock are the parents of 2 children. Surprisingly, the songstress revealed on her talk show in May that she wanted to have more children, but said her husband did not feel the same way. He also has 2 kids with his ex. They wed in 2013. They recently put their California mansion on the market, and she previously listed her Tennessee home. Reps did not get back for comment. I'm going to go ahead. I'm blaming it on the Q. I'm blaming it on the Q. They were quarantined in Montana in like a house with 1 bathroom. And I, for some reason, this news didn't surprise me. But like when you file for divorce in June of 2020, quarantine brought you there.
No, see, I think that quarantine is going to take down a lot of couples, but I don't think it's going to take down as many marriages with kids. Like, they were so much more to lose. And I don't think you throw something like that away, a family. I don't think you do that over quarantine. I mean, there are blinds. And if you want to know what the blinds say, it's that he was cheating on her.
And that's why when I read the news, like the blinds have always been in the back of my head, but I just, you know, the song, the lyrics to Piece by Piece, like that was
Oh my
about
God, like
him.
you can't write a song about someone that's like Piece by Piece and then not be with them forever.
And then get divorced.
I will never leave her like you left me, and she will never have to wonder her worth, because unlike you, I'm gonna put her first. And you know, he'll never walk away, he'll never break her heart, he'll take care of things, he'll love her. Honestly, if you've never seen Kelly Clarkson on the American Idol season finale, like 5 years ago, singing Piece by Piece when she's 9 months pregnant and getting so emotional, like go pause this show, type into YouTube Kelly Clarkson Piece by Piece, and watch how Keith Urban is sobbing. Like it's the best performance ever, and I'm devastated. I mean, hopefully this breakup will like have her tap into that piece of her heart that wrote Piece by Piece, because she's like so devastated, and hopefully that'll be like the only silver lining here. But I'm just curious, if he's a talent manager, is he her manager?
They didn't say her manager.
He said a talent manager.
Yeah, but honestly, if he's her manager, he's doing a phenomenal job. She is everywhere these days. I feel like she's tapping into all of her strengths, like just within her personality, being a voice judge, being a talk show host. Like she's
I feel like she's found her place in Hollywood.
I completely agree, which is why, as much as this story makes me sad, I feel like Kelly is the best Kelly we've ever seen. And if that means that she's getting divorced, and I think that, and she filed for divorce, like this is what's best for her. Now, I'm sure Brandon Blackstock is a nice man, but like my heart is with Kelly, and whatever Kelly needs is what I support. So if Kelly needs a divorce, I'm here for it.
No, we are totally siding with Kelly.
Yeah, we're siding with Kelly on this one.
She gets us in the divorce.
Yeah. I just like couldn't believe it, but I feel like Kelly Clarkson is doing great.
Yeah, no, she'll be fine.
This is honestly, like a symptom. This is a symptom of her doing great, you know?
Yeah, but I was genuinely surprised because I haven't really read the blinds in a while, and I had never read anything about them. And there are just some people where you don't really like think of their marriages. They're just like solid, and that's a fact of life. And for me, she was one of those people where it's like her marriage was solid and that's a fact of life. And then when it just like was so publicly like in front of my face, like they're broken up, I was first, like my first emotion was just like sheer shock.
Yeah. Same. Blame it on the Q.
Okay, like I have the itchiest back. This is disgusting. I need to take my comb. Ooh. Honestly, having a scratch on your back is one of the most annoying things ever.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Why don't you have Ben scratch it? Has he been scratching it for you?
He scratched. I have like a little bit of like a sunburn on my back.
If you scratch your back, you need to scratch mine.
You need to get yours. I need to get mine. So scratch. DJ, come on, bring it, just scratch. We were just talking about that. Do you guys remember?
You had an itchy back.
Oh. Do you guys remember that season of Kardashians when Kris like pretends she's going to start managing like other clients, and she manages this girl group called BG5, and she's like in the studio listening to them sing that song, Scratch. DJ Vina, don't mean that, just scratch. Oh, wow, that was like iconic. I wonder whatever happened to the Beach Girls 5.
I wonder what happened. I don't know. But speaking of bands, Lady Antebellum officially shortens their name to Lady A. Quote, "We are sorry for the hurt this has caused." Lady A put out a statement yesterday revealing that they have officially changed the name of their band, which evoked a painful time in U.S. history. They said, "As a band, we have strived for our music to be a refuge, inclusive of all. We've watched and listened more than ever these last few weeks, and our hearts have been stirred with conviction, our eyes open wide to the injustices, inequality, and biases Black women and men have always faced and continue to face every day. Now, blind spots we didn't even know existed have been revealed. After much personal reflection, band discussion, prayer, and many honest conversations with some of our closest Black friends and colleagues, we have decided to drop the word Antebellum from our name and move forward as Lady A, the nickname our fans gave us almost from the start."
Well, this is obviously the right choice, because who wants like a name that reminds people of like a racist time in history? But also, I just think that Lady A is a better name.
Yeah, I mean, it's time. Honestly, I didn't realize until recently that Antebellum meant before the war. I thought Antebellum was more of a geographical location, like south of the Mason-Dixon line. And
I thought that it was like someone's last name. Like
yeah,
Lady
so
Antebellum, Lady Oshry.
I feel like right now everyone is kind of going through some of the things that are in our society right now that have these connotations from slavery, the Civil War. Like the NASCAR just banned all Confederate flags from their racetrack, which I think was an amazing decision. And so I think this is a logical step for them. I think Lady A is a cute name. Of course, I think some fans are still like, but the A stands for Antebellum.
I guess that's a good point.
Maybe it could stand for something else.
Lady Awesome.
Yeah. And that's what we call them. Also, we've called them Lady A forever.
Things are changing. Did you see? And we just spoke about it, but I guess this is conversations that have been had for a really long time around Band-Aids.
Yes.
Band-Aids announced yesterday, Band-Aid brand announced yesterday that they're going to have like 4 or 5 shades of skin tones for their Band-Aids, which is long overdue, but a step in the right direction.
Yeah. So, proud of Lady A, and I think it's great news.
Yeah, and I don't think it's really going to change like their fandom or their vibe. Like they've always been Lady A.
No, but it's just going to change like the way some people might have felt about hearing that word Antebellum like celebrated.
Of course.
Like that gave them a pit in their stomach.
Totally.
So I think it's a great move. Next story, a little quarantine update from the Culpo McCaffrey house. This week, after 93 days living with her in-laws, Olivia Culpo returned to LA with her sister,
with her in-laws,
man, and with Christian's mom. Did Christian's dad go?
No. So Christian's dad was definitely over having these people.
Christian's dad was not here for the quarantine crew, and this whole development in the story really gives air to that theory. I think like Lisa McCaffrey just like loves Liv, and they're going to LA. They're going to be some LA scenes, and Christian's dad is like, I need some space.
I feel like the mom like lives for the celebrity life, and she like definitely loves Olivia. And they want to like go to Craig's and get like paparazzi, which I'm living for Lisa. But Lisa also lost her suitcase on the flight. Did you see? And she's going through Olivia's closet, like wearing her stuff because Delta lost her suitcase.
Wait, they took a commercial flight? That's really the big shocker here. I would have 100% assumed they flew private.
Ooh, tough times in the McCaffrey Culpo household.
Christian McCaffrey just signed a $64 million contract.
Jealous.
And they flew commercial and his mom's bags got lost. You know, really, stars, they're just like us.
Yeah, no, it's like some things are the great equalizer. That was like coronavirus. Like no matter how famous you are, like you could still get it. And you know what? Losing commercial airline like baggage is the great equalizer of our time. It happens to everyone.
It happens to everyone. But like, that's actually really crazy that it happened. Like I'm sure that
there was nobody on the flight.
There was nobody on the plane. They probably flew like Sky Priority at the very least, either like Delta Comfort or first class. And you usually get that like yellow ticket on your bag. And there's no one on the plane. Like where did her bag go? That's unacceptable.
Crazy. Honestly, it's a little fishy.
Yeah, like that's really crazy.
Things aren't adding up.
But she also came home. I'm like obsessed with their just family, and she came home and she had done all these renovations on her house because she had just moved in, and so she was like giving us all a house tour. And now
can I say something controversial?
Sure.
Like I love Olivia Culpo when she was doing her Instagram stories like before and after of the renovation that she did like let's say she did 10 Instagram stories, like 9 out of 10 of them I liked what was there before better. She replaced like chandeliers and plants, and I'm like, the other ones are better.
It's like super modern. I don't know what that style of houses. I don't know anything.
I think it's like modern farmhouse.
Yeah, it's like Dorit Kemsley's house that was described as a modern farmhouse. So now everything's a modern farmhouse. And I mean, I don't know that that's what I would have done, but she probably would hate what I would have done. So
yeah, no, it's, you know, interior design is very specific. I was just saying like it wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
I love judging people's like $1 million homes from like my rented apartment, you know?
Yeah. Are you using a comb to go through your eyebrows?
Yeah, no, I'm just like
the same comb you just used to scratch your back.
My back is so itchy. It's really not fair.
You got to get the Chevin's little paws in there.
I know. I actually wish Theo could scratch my back, like finally make himself useful.
Totally. Okay, are you ready for our fifth and final story? That will be a great
Oh,
segue.
so fast.
I know, we just breezed through. It'll be a great segue into our TV recap segment because Tinsley Mortimer will not return to the Real Housewives of New York. This is her fairy tale ending. So after a lot of questions surrounding her engagement, her move to Chicago, what is she going to do for Real Housewives of New York? They have made it clear that she is bidding farewell to the Big Apple and to Rahoni. Tinsley will not return to Roni. The reality star bid farewell to New York with an Instagram post on Thursday night. Additionally, the show wrapped up her storyline. She was on Watch What Happens Live. Andy said it's her last time on Watch What Happens Live. So her journey as a Bravo celebrity is over. And I just have to say, like, I really respect the hell out of the fact that she chose love over fame and celebrity.
Yeah, I feel many different ways about this. First, I feel confused that they didn't make it more of a storyline. Like, even though she left amicably, whenever, like, when a housewife leaves mid-season, like, it's always a big deal. Like, I don't know why it wasn't really treated like that.
It seems like she left within a matter of days. There was no time to make it a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it did happen really fast, but now we're living in the future. We know that, like, they do actually get engaged and she fully moves to Chicago. So, like, it's all good and fun. So while I'm like happy for her and like sad that she's leaving the show, I'm so grateful. We're never gonna have to talk about her relationship again. Like, Dorinda's gonna have to find someone else to bully. Like, of course they were losing a castmate. It's sad, but like what Tinsley brought to the table was really nothing. And honestly, her vibe elevated the show, but her storylines like really brought it down like for the last 2 seasons. So I'm glad we're never gonna have to hear about it again.
Okay, I agree with you for the most part, but there were a few things that I thought that I really liked about her. First of all, the last conversation that they had about Scott, and I think it was really Leah who turned the tide when they were at the tea party, and she was like, I saw Scott and honestly it was great, but like I don't want to talk about it because I know it's not going to end well. And they were like, if you love him and it's great, like go be with him, like go get your man. Like, and I think that was the first time her friends have ever encouraged her to be with Scott. And I think that just one moment of encouragement changed her mentality that was like, oh, I don't have to punish myself every time I like feel something for Scott. Like maybe I could just embrace it and see where it goes. Because clearly he feels something for her too and they have a nice relationship. I also will say last night on Watch What Happens Live, Andy asked her, what do you think like you'll be remembered for from Real Housewives? And her answer kind of stunk, like, because she didn't get it out right. But what she was trying to say is like, she never bullied anyone. Like she was never mean to anyone for no reason. Like she never got caught saying something that like she had to apologize for because she wasn't mean. And I think in the realm of Real Housewives, like that's an accomplishment.
Well, you could call it an accomplishment or you could call it boring.
No, but like, I think that's really the lowest hanging fruit is just to like be like Dorinda and dismiss people and say mean things that are funny. But Tinsley like was never mean to anyone. And I think that that's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. But I actually think it will result in her not necessarily being remembered, period.
And I honestly think that Tinsley will be remembered like the worst phase of her life was
Big Apple Circus.
No. Like these 4 years or 3 years, like were probably the lowest points in her life between moving to Palm Beach and getting engaged to Scott. And like, that's all we know of her.
Yeah, but what she was saying on the show before she left is like and she didn't say it like this, but like the shitty time I've had, lowballing it on this reality show got me to where I am now. So like, I'm grateful for it. It's like, you can't have, any success in life without some adversity.
Yes, I agree. And ultimately, like, she could have been like, oh, I'll move to Chicago, but my life in New York. And she could have gone back and forth on the decision for months and been even more annoying. But she made a decision, and I respect decision makers,
Same, like, no, and it was the right decision.
It was the right decision. I really am happy for her. I'm happy that she got her fairy tale happy ending. And I like the way that her story wrapped up, even though she is annoying.
No, she's not even annoying. She's just boring. So I'm grateful. And that's how I have felt like a lot of the season so far is just boring. And I have to assume it has something to do with the most boring castmate, her. So I just am looking forward to maybe a more fruitful season without her. Like, we're just not going to be sidetracked by these dumb conversations between her and Dorinda.
I don't know, because now they showed the previews for the next few weeks. And I think Tinsley, like her role had become like being like kind of a sidekick to Leah, and like them just having like a really good, strong friendship. And so the two of them can kind of like bring the other women to sort of, I don't know, stay.
Leah's on her own.
And Leah's on her own. And for that, I will miss Tinsley.
Yes. But let's dive into New York Housewives because it was actually a very good episode, and it's become like a trend on Housewives to like have the women on Halloween get scared and like film each one of their reactions, and it's literally my favorite thing in the world. Like they did it at Kyle's Halloween party last year, and now they did it outside Blood Manor. By the way, I've never heard of that place.
Me neither.
Dorinda said it was an institution.
Sometimes I watch the show and I'm like, I don't even live in New York City.
Totally, but I kind of want to go to Blood Manor.
I just want to like feel something.
So that night when they go out to Blood Manor and then they go out to the tequila bar, Anejo, which like was just killing me. Like I wanted to be there so fucking badly, like fighting with my friends and having drinks. Dorinda really, she exceeded my expectations, you know? And I find her doing that every episode. Like just when you think she can't say anything more fucked up than the last episode, she asks Tinsley if she needs her turkey baster. You're going to try and have a baby. Like my jaw hit the floor. Like just when I thought she couldn't go any lower, she says probably the most fucked, and I've said this now 3 times about her this season, but that is the most fucked up thing I've ever heard on Housewives.
Yeah. Also, like they were cool, and finally Dorinda was getting what she wanted, which was for Tinsley to admit that she's with Scott, and like the fact, and Tinsley said it a million times, but it's so true. It's like you only want to hear about it when you know that I'm miserable, and when I'm actually happy, you don't want to hear about it because you don't care about me.
Yeah, and I'm on this struggle bus with Dorinda this whole season between like literally thinking she's the most evil person in the world. Like some of the shit that comes out of her mouth, like I can't even fathom how someone could think something so evil about their friend. But then also she has these like really endearing moments. Like when she got up from that horrible dinner at Tinsley's friend's restaurant and just like went home, and I was like, yes, Dorinda, like that's what I would do too. Like sometimes like she really like speaks to me, and then sometimes she's just so mean.
I agree. I like that she got up and left dinner, but those moments are few and far between now compared to how mean she is and how much she takes out her stuff on other people.
Yeah. And by the way, and I'm all for understanding that like she's definitely going through something like with the house and John, but her behavior and like taking it out on her friends is so far beyond like the line. Like she can't even see the line. It's just, it honestly like it's horrible. Like I couldn't believe what she said about the turkey baster. Like it was the most, I don't even have a word other than mean. It was cruel. It was evil. Like who thinks like that?
Yeah, she's so mean. And also all of these women are like perpetually going through stuff, you know? Like they're all not where they thought they would be at this stage in their lives.
Yeah, it's no longer an excuse.
No, it's no longer an excuse. And like open up, share, like taking out like your personal shit on other people that is just like so 10 years ago.
Probably my favorite part of the episode was when they went to the party planner's house in warehouse in Long Island. And
how do we know that person? Did he do
Melissa Gorga's party?
Okay.
Yeah, he's becoming like the residential housewife party planner.
When they were just chowing down on all of that candy, I was like, this is incredible.
No, when they were taking a picture at the end and Dorinda was like, oh, I know why we're here. We drove an hour to be in a promo pic. Like, for sure, like, for their Instagram story, like, you know, he's giving Morona a discount. Like, that is just so funny. And I loved that whole moment, like, of them in that terribly awkward, uncomfortable photo.
Yeah, no, that was really funny. I agree. That candy looked so good. Like those tins of chocolate, like chocolate covered pretzels, like the chocolate.
And by the way, they weren't letting Sonia and Dorinda even talk. So like, what else are they going to do besides eat? And they were like commenting on how much they were eating. It was like really bothering me.
It was so funny. There was so much candy. What else are you going to do?
No, it looked delicious.
It really did.
2 things I wanted to note. When Sonia went into Century 21 for the meeting and she was like so giddy and so excited, like I actually felt really happy for her because like Sonia Morgan brand like is having a hard time like getting off the ground, and Century 21 is like just what she needed. And so when the guy was like talking to her and she was like literally trying not to like jump for joy, it was so cute.
Yes. I'm loving Sonia.
Yeah, she's like flip-flopping a lot. Like sometimes she's so right and then she just takes the wrong side because she like wants to be on like Dorinda's side. I don't understand her sometimes.
Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to say is like Ramona is like obviously listening to all the Call Her Daddy drama because she's in the car like with this guy on the phone with some guy that she's dating and she's calling him Boatman, and she like obviously wants to have like a mysterious suit man type of fella, and it's like Boatman's just like not it. And then that guy who showed up at T-Bar Boatman?
Oh, I don't know, but oh my God, the T-Bar scene was making me like salivate with wanting to go for drinks.
That pizza.
And the pizza. I was literally salivating. Also, when she was talking to Bowman, I thought she was just like on like a logistical call about like a guy for a boat. So I didn't even know that was meant to be romantic.
Oh no, she was trying to be like Carrie Bradshaw big, you know, like it was just not working.
No, I didn't even register it. That's how little it was working. Okay, yeah, agree. Oh, I want to talk about Luann and her show and Sonia, because Luann like really leans on Sonia for like some comic relief in her show. And at first I was like, okay, cool. Like people love Sonia. You get it. Like you're going to incorporate her into the show, but like she's not paying Sonia. I thought that
Luann said she was. And then Sonia said she wasn't. So I don't know who to believe.
I feel like I'm going to believe the person who is or isn't getting paid. Like, and that's Sonia.
Well, so I think Sonia said she pays for half of my glam. So I feel like the paycheck that she gets is like, let's say Sonia's glam is $500. Luann pays her a paycheck of $250. So technically, like, she's getting paid, but it doesn't even cover her cost of like showing up to the place.
Are you joking? That's insane. Luann already has hair and makeup there that she's paying for. Sonia's hair and makeup should be free, and then Sonia gets paid on top of that to like strip and make a fool out of herself for Luann's show and like do all of this heavy lifting. That is, and I would understand if it was just like one show in New York. Sonia's going to be a special guest. Like you don't pay people.
No, but
to,
it's
like,
the tour.
But to go like that is truly the craziest thing ever. Oh, and she still has to pay for half of her makeup.
Right. I mean, I don't know. This tour, I guess, should have been going on right now or like coming up. It's obviously getting delayed, and I don't know if it ended up working out between Sonia and Luann, but I'd be very interested to see. Also, them auditioning those comics was funny. Like to audition for stand-up is like so brave, but to do it on a TV show was like even braver. Because you never know how they're going to edit.
I thought they were really good. Yeah.
But you never know how they're going to edit you. Like at Luann's past event, like they gave the comics a rough edit. Like they might have been funny, but in the edits, they surely weren't. So I thought they were very gracious to these comedians.
Yeah, I really liked it. I just hope that like Sonia gets paid fairly, because that bothered me. And also when Luann went to lunch with that guy who's like directing the show, they were just talking so like disparagingly about Sonia, and it's like you're about to like put your show on her back, not pay her, and like talk shit about her. Fuck that.
That guy is like living for the moment, you know? Like this is everything for him.
I know.
So we have to give him a little grace.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Leah, but once again, Leah is just like everything I need in a housewife, in a human being.
She needs no explanation.
No. And whenever it's her versus anyone else, like I am on Leah's side.
Me too. She's just like, it's weird when she gets so out of control, because when she's herself, like she is the most like to the point, well-spoken, articulate. And I get why she feels the need to release. And it's just so hypocritical, these women like acting so ghastly at her behavior when like them in Newport in the middle of a restaurant with the fruit and the hitting on the random guys, like that was so abhorrent. The fact that anyone could think that that was even close to what Leah was doing in a field with her friends with no one else around, like they're the hunchbacks who can't see their own hunches.
No, that was so crazy. And like, I get it. Leah's behavior is extreme, sure. And maybe if she was like in a different situation, like you could call her out on it. But like for Ramona to be like, we're embarrassed by you, when it's like, you're the most embarrassing person ever.
Horrifying. And I think that's why Leah's so upset. I remember a few weeks ago, there was all that Instagram drama. I feel like Ramona has tried to perpetuate like this stigma of Leah from filming to after, that she's quote unquote embarrassing. Like Avery was posting that on her Instagram, like, Mom, you're associated with this. So embarrassing. When it's like, Leah is not embarrassing. And I'm sure she's getting annoyed that everyone keeps calling her that. Ramona is embarrassing.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Great. Hidden Figures.
Oh, yes. Oh, I totally forgot. And I also have one more thing before we dive into Hidden Figures. Did you see that today Netflix released a 25-minute Dave Chappelle special?
I saw that briefly, but I haven't watched it, obviously.
So I don't know if it's on like Netflix app. I'm sure it is, but I watched the whole thing on IGTV, and it's so funny because like a few days ago, me and Ben were just like talking about the current state of the world and like the Black Lives Matter movement, and I'm like, you know what? Like I really would be curious to hear what Dave Chappelle has to say, because he's like such a powerful voice in the Black community, and he's always like making just like fire points in like these funny roundabout ways. And I'm like, too bad we'll never hear from him, because he just like doesn't have social media. He like does a special once a year and then he goes back to his house in Ohio. But I guess he felt compelled to release something, and I won't spoil it for anyone. I'll just say, like, it wasn't funny. Like, it was serious. Like, I don't even know if you could call it a comedy special, because I laughed
really?
like 3 times. It was just like, he's very impassioned and he's angry, and it was very, very well done, but it's really not like funny.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it, but I would have assumed it was like a comedy special, but it's
Yeah, but so they like filmed it outdoors with they showed you in the beginning like how they got everyone ready. Everyone had to wear masks. All the chairs were 6 feet apart. They took everyone's temperature when they arrived. It was really like a crazy, what he was talking about was like so crazy, and like the show itself, like the circumstances were so crazy. I think everyone should watch it. It was really, really good.
okay, cool. We'll do. We could recap it on Monday. But now for Hidden Figures, which I watched last night. So did you. It was your first time seeing it. What did you think?
I mean, this was my face the whole movie. Ready? Like, everything was just so fabulous. I don't even know where to start. I thought like the vibe of the movie was like so everything, you know, like the music, right? Like and their outfits.
Like the music, their outfits, literally just like the way it's a historical movie based on a real book. And so you think like a history movie, you don't associate with like just being so fun.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
I just loved the 3 women. Like, I couldn't decide who was my favorite. Like, was it Dorothy or was it Mary? Like, everyone, I was just like living for all of them. And you know what? I was thinking, I'm like, why is this movie so good? And it's like that genre of movie where it's like, this really happened, but like nobody talks about it. And it's so unbelievable, A, that it happened, and B, that nobody talks about it, that the movie is so good. It kind of reminded me, similar to like Argo, like, this is so unbelievable. It actually happened, but nobody knows about it. So it's like that type of genre.
I haven't seen Argo.
It's very upsetting, honestly. Like, it's just pit the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that type of genre, I agree. It's so amazing to like watch a story that it's amazing, and then you find out it's a true story. That's how we felt about our Redheads book this month. But I want to talk about something because I had seen some comments on our Instagram, and then I looked into it, that there's some controversy with the movie because it has a white savior in it. So the character that Kevin Costner plays did not exist in real life. I think it might have been a composite character or just someone that the studio added. And there are 2 like key moments where he's, you know, the white savior, and they didn't happen. The first moment is the bathroom. And it turns out that Katherine Johnson just used whatever bathroom that she wanted. So like that whole bathroom storyline, wasn't real and wasn't necessary. And I guess they put it in to like make white people like look good and feel better about themselves, which is just like so unnecessary. And also, just as a history person, I hate when there's a true story and they add elements that are untrue for absolutely no reason, that nothing that like moves, just for no reason. Like, I just think that that's historically irresponsible. And then the second thing, when she comes back to watch Glenn Powell go to the moon.
John Glenn
Powell to circle the earth. She actually, and then like Kevin Costner opens the door and lets her in. That didn't happen. So it's just like another white savior moment. She watched it from like her desk. She didn't watch it from inside the room. So it's just like these moments that I guess I was reading about an article about it. They're intended to like make white audiences just feel better about the story. Which is disappointing because it's just unnecessary. Like, the story's not about him whatsoever. Like, we are here to like watch these 3 women make history.
No, what's frustrating about it is like the story was obviously unbelievable enough for it to be made into a movie. Like, why do you have to add all these narratives? And, you know, I knew going in that Kevin Costner's character wasn't real. So I didn't really connect with him. I was just like thinking, I'm like, I wonder what actually happened. Like, why was this necessary? And honestly, her using whatever bathroom she wanted is such a better, more powerful storyline. Like, I'm so upset. And it's so unnecessary. Like, if a movie's good enough, if the story itself is good enough to make it to a Hollywood studio, like, leave it alone.
Right. And I do think that when you're saying something is based on a book, like, you should stick to that as much as possible. Because you like, I don't like when historical, and we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about this privately or on the show with Hunters and the controversy with that show.
We spoke about it on the show.
Like, adding things to a historical show or film that didn't actually happen, and it takes away. I think that it takes away and it leaves the audience wrong about what actually happened.
And it like leaves the whole narrative up for interpretation when certain elements aren't true, and it like devalues the the message and the storyline, and it's so unnecessary. Like not only was them adding that bathroom narrative so unnecessary, the truth is actually more interesting.
Yes, I completely agree. So that's be
very disappointing.
Yeah, that's like something from the movie that I didn't like. But overall, I absolutely love the movie. And to me, it's about the three women, like whether Kevin Costner opened the door or didn't open the door. Like these women were so incredible. When honestly, I've seen this movie before. It's one of my favorite movies. But when it ended and they were showing like, and I also got my period yesterday, but when they were showing like the true stories and the pictures, I was crying and I had like, full body chills. And like, it's such an amazing story.
There were three moments that really, really struck me. First of all, when she came home from such a long day at NASA and Mahershala Ali was there and cooked her dinner with her family and asked her to marry him, like I just about died. Like it was, I wish when we had gotten, it seemed like they had just met. So like, I wish we got like a little bit more of like their time together, because it seemed like they met at the church lunch and then got engaged. But I'm sure that there was more to it than that. The second thing that like really like shook me completely was when, Janelle Monáe fought in court to be able to take classes at the all-white school, and she gets it, and she like walks out of the courtroom and she's just like jumping for joy, screaming. It was just everything of the sort. Like I was literally like, Ben was like, "Are you okay?" I was in my tab. I'm like, "Yes!" I'm like, "Get it, yes!" Like I was just living for it. And then also the third moment was the credits. That's my favorite part of like most historical movies, is like seeing the pictures in real life and like what they accomplished after the movie quote unquote ends. And it was just really, really powerful stuff. And it's just so crazy how it's like these three women like are responsible for like the greatest accomplishment in American history. And up until this movie came out, like nobody knew that and nobody was talking about it.
They were hidden figures.
Duh.
Yeah.
So also, I hope Jim Parsons has become this like token actor for like the terrible person. Like he was that person in in Hollywood on Netflix. Yes. And I just fucking hated Paul, his character. Like I just wanted to punch him. He wasn't that smart. Catherine was smarter than him. And he just like thought he was so great because he was a white man. And he was just like the symbol. I don't know. Was his character real?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. But he was the symbol of, the like.
He represented all that was wrong in the country at the time, and yes. Specifically in NASA.
Yes.
And Octavia Spencer was just like the mother of the girls. And she was like, when everyone was getting their assignments and like she couldn't get that fucking supervisor role because Kirsten Dunst was being a bitch. Like I was just like feeling for her so hard. But she said something so powerful in the car. She's like, "I'm happy that you guys got your permanent positions, because like a step forward for you guys is a step forward for all of us." And like she was just really like, she was a team player, but she got it at the end. Like she got that supervisor role for the IBM machine, and I was just like living for her.
No, living for her. It's amazing.
Yeah, I can't believe I've never seen it. It's such a good movie.
I don't know if we're
doing like Toast Movie of the Week ratings, but that gets a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, no, it's as good
actually,
as it gets.
It gets a 4.8 for the white savior bullshit. Like, come on.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, cool. Well,
that's all she wrote. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Morning Toast, the Millennial Morning Show, where we go live Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. We're also available as a podcast anywhere podcasts can be found. So that's Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Public Radio, iHeartRadio, CastBox, all the places. So wherever you listen to podcasts, find us, Morning Toast, and leave a 5-star review about how beautiful, stunning, and smart we are. We love you guys so much. Have a fabulous weekend and just have a drink. Bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye.